Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. Between the three franchises, 31 movies. Today is the 31st of October, our holiday, 31 on 31. It's time to rank them. Let's go. Welcome to the Dave Cave. I'm Dave, and today we finally made it. A journey that I started back in July finally culminates in Halloween night, where I'm ranking all 31 of the big three. Now, real quick, before we get started, some credit where credit is very due. Cody Leach came up with this idea last year to rank all three of the big three, 31 movies, on the 31st, and after watching those and being very inspired by that effort, I asked Cody if he would be cool if I took on this challenge. He gave me his blessing, and I underwent doing all 31 movies, reviewing all of them, and now we are finally here to rank all 31. And this is not a ranking of cinematic achievement. This is how much I enjoy these movies. So without wasting another minute, let's go. Coming in at the bottom of the barrel, number 31, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. There is really not much that I enjoy about this movie. It is a joke of itself. It makes a mockery of Freddy. The story doesn't make sense. The kills are weak. They try too hard to goof him up. It doesn't work. This movie across the board, if I never have to watch it again, it's too soon. Coming in at number 30, not far on the heels of Freddy's Dead, we have Friday the 13th, Part 5. I didn't enjoy this movie as I was going through it. I felt it was very weak. The kills were not really anything to write home about. And then we get the twist, which explains why I didn't really like Jason in this one. But I get the twist that it's Roy. And that twist, one, you just gave me a whole movie that isn't Jason. And two, you gave me a twist that was weak. Weak as shit. Didn't work for me at all. Had they tried a little bit harder on what the twist could have been or would have been, this movie may have saved itself for me, but not likely. Number 29 goes to Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 5, The Dream Child. By this point, they were absolutely reaching. Where else could you attack somebody's dreams? Let's go after a baby. Decent idea and concept, but when you go after a baby that's, been conceived for all of, 3-4 days? It doesn't make sense. And then you take away some of the mythos that Part 4 put in place. And there's a lot of weirdness in this movie. A lot of weirdness. And then you only give us 3 kills. If you're going to go weird, you got to go hard in the paint in other places. And really across the board, not much of this works. Coming in at the 28th spot, we have Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, the general familiar trope, the fact that this movie doesn't take place in Manhattan, it takes place on a boat for a majority of it, and then it goes to Manhattan. That in and of itself is a dumb idea. But then you have this whole teleportation Jason, which I'm not a fan of. I like kind of knowing where Jason is. And then you turn Jason into a whining, sniveling, speaking child. Okay. When you get to the end of a lot of these series, it gets screwy, but anybody saying, yeah, we're going to have Jason talk, and someone said, yeah, that's a good idea, and then a whole room signed off on it, screw that. For number 27, we have Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4, The Dream Master. Now, I said that Part 5 shits on Part 4. Part 4 shits on Part 3 even harder. Part 4 wasn't all that great. I didn't like the way they segued into having this new final girl, and that they killed off the Dream Warriors, and that they couldn't get Patricia Arquette to come back to complete the surviving Dream Warriors. And then you have Freddy on a beach. I understand that it was a sign of the times, but this was the decline. This was the decline of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. This was when they started to just not give a shit, and hey, let's make it as outlandish as we can make it, and at the same time, let's turn Freddy into a comedy character. This is when they lost me, and they lost me hard. Now, you're probably wondering, Dave, when are you going to put a Halloween movie on this list? Right now, number 26 goes to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This movie did a lot wrong for me. It tried way too hard to explain Michael, gave Michael some ulterior motives, didn't make him just a killer, which I understand this is what Rob Zombie wanted to do, but none of it landed for me. The only good thing for me in that movie, like really, really good, was Scout Taylor Compton. She kicks ass in that movie. If it wasn't for her, I would absolutely hate this movie. It would be further down in my ranking, easily. Now coming in just a titch higher than Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, we have Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. This is another movie where this was the absolute decline of the series. This movie does not do a lot right. Like I said, this is very close with Halloween 2 for me in just, I don't like what they did. But just like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, this movie for me is saved with strong performances by Danielle Harris, Donald Pleasence, and you have that ending, that open-ended no by Danielle Harris. She's crying, she's upset, Michael is free. I love the hell out of that ending, and that is what causes this to be just a little bit better than Rob Zombie's 2. For number 24, we have Jason Goes to Hell. I actually enjoy this movie a fair bit, not because I really take it seriously or it does anything to really scare me, but I like the idea that this kind of plays as fan fiction, and my brain picked up on that immediately when watching this movie, and because I'm able to kind of latch onto that and not really attach it to really the rest of any of the Friday the 13th movies, it works for me. What if Jason was blown up, and the way to keep him going was to eat his heart, and then he was trying to get to another Voorhees? What if? This is that what if. And it's a fun ride. It's ridiculous, sure, absolutely, but it's fun. You get some kind of craziness in there, and then it culminates, ultimately, in the tease that took years to pay off when you have Freddy Krueger's arm pull Jason's mask down into hell. There's a lot to like there. Go rewatch it. Go rewatch it thinking it's fan fiction. Might change your mind. Taking the number 23 spot, we have Halloween Resurrection. Now, this movie has a very big cardinal sin for me. They fucked up the end of Halloween H2O, which I really, really like, and we'll get to that more in a little bit. But it also has kind of one of my favorite performances as Michael by Brad Loree. I like this Michael. I think he looks really good, aside from the little bit he doesn't look good in the beginning. But I like him. And I like that they kind of tried to go with something. Unfortunately, as things go on, this movie's going to feel even more dated when reality shows aren't really a thing anymore. You're going to be like, what the hell was this? And then it's going to be a history lesson that we're describing to our grandkids. Oh yeah, back when people wanted to watch people on camera and all this crazy shit. It's not going to age well. And really, there's a lot that this movie doesn't do right. But between a solid Michael and a pretty enjoyable performance, at least for me, by Busta Rhymes, yeah, this isn't one I hate watching. Now for Double Dose, number 22, we have Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. I wasn't expecting to really like this movie, because when you go into it, you're like, okay, they're going to have this telekinetic. It's not, this is going to be bad, especially number 7. When you're on number 7 in a series, you're not expecting much. But I actually had a fair bit of good time with this movie. It's got some solid kills. The ending gets a little bit fucky, but when you finally get to the payoff of having Tina fight Jason, it plays out as well as that fight could play out. You have some solid kills in there. She kicks his ass. Jason looks fucked up when you get his mask off of him. I dig it. It's a fun time. It's not one that you really can take too seriously, but yeah, I like this one. Coming in at the blackjack spot, number 21, we have Friday the 13th, Part 3, the entry in the series that gave us this, The Mask. And really, a big, hulking, awesome Jason. The only thing that really holds this movie back, and he kind of holds it back a lot for me because the whole effect of it doesn't age well, you get so many scenes where everything is up in your business, and you get all these arrow into an eye, you get Jason reaching out for the camera, you get a pitchfork coming at the screen, you get all these moments, and it's like, that doesn't work. And then you have that on top of not some of the best victims that we've ever had in the whole Friday the 13th franchise. There's some stuff it does right, some stuff it does wrong, and it gets a lot of credit for giving us the iconic Jason that we know and love today. For number 20, speaking of part 3s, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This was a movie that I had not seen prior to doing this review series. I don't know how I hadn't. I just hadn't. I think my brain was latching onto the idea that Michael Myers isn't in it. Fuck it. I don't want to see it. But then I finally saw it. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot that this movie does right. It nails Halloween. I like the whole idea of another entity fucking around on the holiday. I understand that at the time, a lot of people didn't like it. It got a lot of backlash because it didn't have Michael Myers. But in terms of what they were going to kind of try to do and make the whole Halloween series be about all crazy shit that happens on Halloween night, this succeeded. This does a very good job, and for me, has one of the best endings in all of the Halloween franchise. This is a very fun movie and does not deserve a lot of the hate that it gets. In the number 19 spot, we have Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Now you have this movie where after 5 was, you know I don't like 5. So 6 comes in and they retcon the character of Tommy Jarvis, which was a very smart move. Confusing one, but it was a smart move. On top of Tommy Jarvis, you have a lot of other likable characters in this movie. Like Sheriff Garris, starts off as a dick, dies as a hero. You have a lot of cool kills. You do have a lot of camp in there towards the middle. But overall, this is a solid entry. It's a fun movie. It's an enjoyable Friday the 13th outing. It's just a shame that we didn't get Tom Matthews back until Never Hike Alone. Now it is time for the Nightmare on Elm Street series to make a return to the list, with the number 18 spot going to Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Now this movie, this was one that I don't watch a lot, but in rewatching it for this specific ranking and reviewing it, I liked it a fair bit. Freddy looks fucking crazy. The last act gets a little bit weird. They do bitch Freddy out, and it turns really into a love story, like a full-on love story, and that's not what I'm here for Freddy for. But leading up to that, everything that happens, all the messing, all the meddling that Freddy does, the kills that we get, they are a little bit weird here and there. But damn, like Freddy is hardcore in this movie. And you have the whole pool party scene, the first and only time that we've ever had Freddy be a mass murderer. A lot of this movie works. A lot of this movie works really well. Now for my number 17 spot, I'd imagine that you're probably wondering how this isn't lower in my ranking, but it goes to Jason X. I have a lot of fun with this movie. I understand that there are things that aren't that strong, but if you're going to take this whole idea, and again, it feels like fan fiction, but if you're going to take this whole idea of taking Jason and putting him into space, I dare you to find a better way to do that. You might not agree with the idea of putting Jason in space, because that is fucking crazy. But if you're going to get Jason from Earth to space, this movie does it perfectly. And there are a lot of awesome kills in this movie. All over the place. Awesome kills. The drill, the liquid nitrogen. When you have Uber Jason finally show up and he kills the campers, and you get a double sleeping bag scene. There's a lot to like, and yes, it is silly, it is goofy, it's not scary at all, but it's fun. And Kane Hodder does his Kane Hodder thing. I like this one. This one's fun. We're at the halfway mark, number 16, and that goes to the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. There is a lot that this movie kinda didn't really land with, but I do enjoy it. I like the whole way that they handle the kills. The kills are brutal. I do like Jackie Earle Haley's take on Freddy Krueger. I like the way he made it his own. The look could use a lot less CG, absolutely. But I like him. I like the way he is played. And really, I don't mind that they kind of hinted at the idea of him maybe being a sexual predator. I've gotten that vibe from Freddy before. He didn't strike me as someone that just was a child murderer. It felt like more. He's a creepy dude. Yeah, he is a murderer. Absolutely. And he's a torturer, and he's a piece of shit. But I never got the vibe that that was just it. And then this movie takes that and runs with it a little bit more. Yes, they shouldn't have made it so much of a mystery of whether or not he did or didn't, or what his motives were. They should have just had him be a piece of shit. But overall, as what you're going to try to do to give a new story but also keep it feeling familiar, 2010 did it for me. Hitting up the number 15 spot, we have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, this movie does do a fair bit in terms of bringing back Michael Myers. Because you have, it's really more in the era of Halloween 2, not so much Halloween 1, but you have the same level of brutality that Halloween 2 has. Where Halloween 4 really kind of fails is that Michael looks goofy as shit. He's in the bodysuit, he doesn't look comfortable, he looks stiff, he looks silly. Even though you have this Michael, like I said, he's brutal, but he's also a mastermind. He kills an entire police department. He knocks out all the power, and he single-handedly works through the house to get to Jamie. He's a cool Michael, but if they had made him look better and move better in the suit, which there is some redemption, and we're going to get to that with George Wilbur, but it just, as much as I do like and want to like this movie, I don't really enjoy putting it in. It doesn't, seeing that Michael, because I like Michael Myers a lot, seeing that Michael ruins a lot for this movie for me. If Michael doesn't work, failure to say that the rest of the movie won't really work. Coming in at number 14, we have Robert Englund's last ride as Freddy Krueger with Freddy versus Jason. Now, this movie does, again, it's like fan fiction. If you can really look at the last bit of Jason movies, because this really is a Jason movie, there's a little bit of Freddy tinge to it, but really it's more so a Jason movie. You look at it as fan fiction, and it works really well. And like I said with whole Jason X thing, if you were going to have Freddy versus Jason, I don't really think that you could have done it better. The way they handled it, the whole logic of, okay, we got the tease in Jason Goes to Hell, where Freddy and Jason are together. Freddy, nobody cares about Freddy. Freddy brings back Jason to spread fear on Elm Street. Makes perfect sense. But then, as they say in the movie, Freddy can't turn Jason off, and he's like, okay, I gotta kill him. But you can't kill Jason, and what Freddy learns is that, yeah, you're just gonna have to throw down in a gigantic grudge match, which is exactly what happens, and there's no winner, and we're back to square one. I dig it. It's fun. Freddy is goofy, but he's a creepy goofy. He's not silly goofy. He's dark. I like that. You get some solid kills, you get some brutality, you get Freddy versus Jason. It's a, decade-long payoff. A lot works. Hell of a lot works. Now, it feels almost blasphemous not putting a Friday the 13th in this spot, but for number 13, we have Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. I like this one a lot. It's a direct inverse as to what I like and don't like about Halloween 4. As I said, I don't like Michael Myers in Halloween 4. I think he's silly, I think he's goofy, but his personality is alright. In this one, same actor, George P. Wilbur, comes back and he gives us full-on brutal Michael. We have some awesome kills. We have this whole flip on, okay, maybe they're going to try to control Michael. We have this baby thing going on, and then no, Michael just kills everybody. It introduces Paul Rudd, which you can't hate that, because who doesn't like Paul Rudd? And then you end this, especially now watching this, knowing where Paul Rudd has come, watching this and watching Paul Rudd beat Michael Myers' face in with a pipe. I dig that. And then you have the end, which really, sadly, is the end for Donald Pleasence. You have Dr. Loomis go into the sanitarium and presumably be killed by Michael Myers. It's a great send-off. It's an appropriate send-off for the character. You love Donald Pleasence. You hate to see him go, but I think this was the best way to do it. Number 12 goes to the original Friday the 13th. This was another one that I had not seen before doing those reviews and doing this whole ranking series. I was very surprised to see how pulled in I was. I mean, this was 1980. This is 2019 now. This had me. This movie had me a lot. And Alice, the final girl, she kicks ass. I mean, holy shit. I knew the twist that, it was Jason's mom the whole time. Obviously, you can't be a horror fan and not at least know that, whether or not you've seen the movie. You do know that. So you go in knowing that information, and it's still awesome. It's still a well put together movie. I don't enjoy it as much because, there's a little bit more carnage candy in other movies that we're going to get to in the rest of the series. But this one is solid, and it still holds up. It holds up really well. Practical effects, kills, payoff. Yeah. Pamela Voorhees, holy shit. Talk about one of the creepiest characters in all of cinema, all of horror, all of anything. Whew. Gives you the creeps. Right on the heels of the original Friday the 13th, number 11 goes to Friday the 13th, Part 2. We get the introduction of Jason, which I actually like this version of Jason a fair bit. He's awesome. Ginny, again, another strong final girl. You have this movie open, and they kill the final girl from the last one, which you don't see that, well, at least when you first see it, you don't see that coming because, holy shit, you think they're going to give her more because you have Alice, and Alice is dealing with PTSD, which, holy shit, this movie's going to get deep. Nope, ice pick. She's dead. Damn. What a way to start a movie. And then you have, Jason doing all his Jason things. You have all these camp counselors doing all their shit. And you have one of the greatest examples of equal opportunity killing in all of the big three, where Jason machetes a dude in a wheelchair right to his face. You think homeboy's going to get some, and he gets some in the form of a machete. Holy shit. One of the best kills in all the Friday the 13th franchise. Now for the last of the double digits, number 10, we have Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This movie brought the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise back. Absolutely. After Freddy's dead, really 4, 5, and 6. After those, this really was dead in the water. Then a whole bunch of people came back. Wes came back. Heather Langenkamp came back. Obviously, Robert Englund's going to come back. He is Freddy. Was fully in the throes of Freddy at this point. And you have this movie that, one, yes, it has absolutely a lot of callbacks to the first one, but you have this whole meta idea where Freddy isn't just a character that Wes Craven made. Freddy is a demon that likes the whole Freddy form and tries to come back into our real world. So it's like a movie, watching a movie kind of thing. I like it. There's a lot that this one does right. There is a lot of things that are a little bit off. The ending is a little bit, okay. But it's solid. Freddy looks great. Looks totally different. Well, not totally different. Looks very different, but still looks great. And if we're being honest, I'm pretty damn excited for the fan film sequel to New Nightmare with Dylan's New Nightmare. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Taking the number 9 spot, we have Rob Zombie's Halloween. Aside from the first 15-20 minutes of that movie, for me, it does everything that a remake should do. It feels familiar. You have Michael, you have Loomis, you have Laurie, you have Annie, you have Linda, you have Bob, you have Lindsay, you have Tommy. You have all these characters. You have Haddonfield. You have the same kind of feel. But really, it plays out very differently. And Tyler Mane as Michael Myers, he's one of the best Michael Myers that we've ever gotten. Like, it's a toss-up between James Jude Courtney, Nick Castle, and Tyler Mane. He made Michael terrifying again, because he is. He's physically imposing. He's brutal, but he's not gruesomely brutal, which is something I don't like about Halloween 2. But he's awesome. He's a great Michael. This movie does a lot right when you get out of Michael's youth. When you get to being grown up, and really actually when you get out of the house, Michael and Loomis forward, I like this movie a lot. For the Ocho, number 8, we have Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. This movie really is, you can't ask for much more in terms of a sequel, especially when you have Freddy. One, the kills are awesome across the board. But also you have these fight back moments throughout really a lot of the movie. And if you've seen any of my other reviews, especially if you go back and you watch all these reviews to get a little bit more idea of why I feel how I feel about these movies, you know that I like when they take the fight to the asshole, when they go on the offensive, when they don't take their shit anymore. And Dream Warriors does a fair bit of that, and it does it well. And you like the characters. Everybody that's in the whole Dream group, the Dream Warriors, they're nice. They're good. They're not stupid. They do what they're supposed to do. They're good characters, which you don't get that a lot when you have these slasher movies. Usually it's one, maybe two characters. No. I like them. I like them all. And it's tragic to watch them die in this. Now this and the next entry in this list, this was a hard one for me to really figure out who edges up, which one I like a little bit more. But for number 7, I have Friday the 13th, Part 4. I like this one. I like this one a lot. We get Tommy Jarvis, which even in kid form, Tommy Jarvis is awesome. We have great kills. We have a fun victim group, just like with the Dream Warriors. This is a fun victim group that even the butthole, Teddy, even though he's a dick, he's a likable dick. You like him. When he dies, it's like, okay, you know it's going to happen, obviously, but it's like, I like that guy. I like that guy. Oftentimes in these slasher movies, the dick is just the dick, and you're like, okay, yeah, you can go. But when you have a good, solid victim group, and you have a awesome Jason, this one has one of the best kills in all the franchise. It's the very first kill where he hacks through the neck and spins. I like that kill. I like that kill a lot. Jason rocks in this one, and the victims are fun, but the next one has just a little bit more love from me. So for number 6, we have the Friday the 13th remake. Across the board, this, for me, is the best Friday the 13th. It mixes all the good shit of the first 3 together. But even in that, we get other hints of other parts of the series a little bit here and there. Not really, X and Manhattan and Goes to Hell. But the first 6, maybe 7, you get hints of stuff throughout there. Derek Mears as a survivalist version of Jason. I like him. I like him a lot. He's a badass. He's brutal. You believe that he'll be doing the things that he does in this movie. And then you, again, have the victim group. Even Trent. Trent is a dickhead. But I get him. I understand that. I know that guy. I've met that guy before. I get him. He plays that well. And it is good because you have characters that you like a lot in this movie, like Chewie, that when he dies, you're like, oh man, it's good to have a couple throw-off characters who are like, yeah, fuck Trent. He can die. I can't wait to see him die. Now, kicking off my top 5 is the original Halloween 2. The movie picks up right after the events of 1978 and just runs from there. Makes perfect sense. You get a little bit of recap, and you have them just continue the night he came home. You get a little bit of a middle finger when it comes to Laurie Strode. She's the final girl, but she doesn't do shit in this movie. Really, where this movie shines is Michael Myers and the way that he works his way through the hospital. You get a bigger body count. It still feels like the original night. They do a very good job of emulating the entire feel of the first one. There's a little bit more, camera on Michael. You see him more in the light, but it's a sequel. It's got to go a little bit bigger. You're not going to have the same thing over and over and over again, but it still feels the same. Loomis is awesome. You get a little bit more backstory on Michael, and for those that really like it, I don't mind it either way, but for those that really like it, we get the introduction of the whole brother-sister angle. It works, and then they kill Michael, presumably, until Halloween 3 flopped and they brought him back for Halloween 4. But really, when you pair this with the original Halloween, you're not going to get a much better double feature in terms of the big 3. You watch the original, you watch 2, works great together. Coming in at number 4, we have the original Nightmare on Elm Street. This movie, I would say of all of the movies in the big 3, it obviously fits. This movie gave me more nightmares than any of them, bar none. Freddy Krueger freaked the shit out of me. It's not as enjoyable as, the top three, but this movie is awesome. It still ages very well. The practicals, the kills, holy shit, the kills in this movie. You know you have a good movie, a good solid slasher, when every kill is iconic. You can't see one of them and not know exactly what movie it's from. They're all awesome. And the Johnny Depp kill, one, it's awesome because Johnny Depp of who he is now, but two, holy shit, the blood in that scene. That scene is awesome. Across the board, it changed the landscape, gave us a great, great character in Freddy Krueger. I like it. I like it a lot. I love it. The original Nightmare on Elm Street. Love it. For my number 3 spot, this is another one where I went back and forth on who was going to be 2, who was going to be 3. It was really hard, because I like both of these movies so much. But number 3 goes to Halloween H2O. I like the movie a lot. I really, really do. It has my favorite finale in all of the big 3. They screwed it up when they did Resurrection, but holy shit. All the years of time between Halloween, Halloween 2, and then you jump to Halloween H2O, and Laurie Strode is just damaged. Damaged beyond recognition. She has PTSD. She's dealing with it, but she's severely broken, is dumping all the shit on her son, and then Michael finds her, and she chops his fucking head off. Very few movies have such satisfying endings across genres. This movie, when you see Laurie not give into this whole manipulation that Michael has, because you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why is she trying to hold his hand? And then she sees the head tilt and she, boom. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's my favorite ending. It might be my favorite ending in all of movies ever. And edging it at the number 2 spot, just above Halloween H2O, we have Halloween 2018. Now, the ending obviously isn't as fulfilling, but across the board, through the entire length of the movie, I enjoy this movie more. From start to finish, more minutes in this movie I enjoy than I enjoy in Halloween H2O. Even the Sartain stuff, because more and more as I watch 2018, because I've seen it a lot. I enjoy it that much that I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen it since it came out on 4K, and I watch it. I pop it in all the time. I'm probably going to watch it tonight on Halloween. That's growing on me. Like, I can get behind that. It is a little bit ridiculous that he's going to pick up Michael Myers with one bum arm and throw him in the back of a truck. Sure, there are little plot holes here and there like that. But in terms of start to finish and being actually scared of Michael again and terrified of what he could do because he kills a kid in this movie, Michael's awesome. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. She's awesome. Across the board, I like this movie a lot. A lot. But it's not my number 1. Now, if you've been keeping track, you absolutely know what I'm about to say. So my number 1 favorite of the big 3 goes to the original Halloween. Really, I don't have much that I don't like about the original Halloween. There's a couple moments where the dialogue's a little bit flubby, but Michael escapes. You have this kid. You have the whole long shot front scene. The music, Donald Pleasance kicks ass. Sheriff Brackett kicks ass. The girls, you like them even though they're, Annie isn't your favorite character, at least not for me. You still like her, and you have all these iconic moments in terms of Michael that have lasted and persisted through these years. 1, the look, but 2, the simplicity of how he kills people. This is not a movie that is bloody at all, but it's terrifying. His kills are simple. He chokes. He picks Bob up and he sticks him to a door and admires his work. There's so many great shots, and it has really the Jaws effect. in this movie where you don't see Michael. You see him, but you don't see him. You don't see him until the Linda kill. And then you really see the mask and you're like, oh, shit. Like, damn, man. Everything about this movie. It might actually be my favorite horror movie of all time. I love Halloween. There will not be a time where someone could suggest to me, hey, do you want to watch movie A or do you want to watch Halloween? That I'm not going to push to watch Halloween. I don't care what time of day it is. I don't care what day of the year it is. I love Halloween. I think it is an incredibly well put together movie. I think in its simplicity, it's pretty much ageless. I understand now we have cell phones and some things wouldn't play out the same ways, but you can feel it. It works. It's awesome. Well, there it is. I've done it. I have ranked all 31 of the big three, least to most favorite. If you're wondering a little bit more of why I feel or how I feel about these movies a little bit more in depth, as I said before, I've watched and reviewed all of them. I will have links in the description below that will start you on each of the playlists: Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Go check those out. I had a lot of fun getting ready for this video, putting this video together. Again, a gigantic shout out and thank you to Cody Leach for giving me your blessing to get this done. And you know what? Because I had so much fun, I have a feeling a lot more ranking videos are going to be coming down the pipe. And now I'm going to turn it over to you. Where would you rank these? Maybe not the whole 31, because yeah, this was tough for me. Maybe top 5. What would you put in your top 5 of the big three? Michael, Jason, Freddy. Hit the comments below. Let me know. If you enjoyed this ranking video, please don't forget to drop a like, share it with a friend, and if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button. Like I said, we're going to have some more rankings come along. I'm doing reviews all the time as new movies come out, and I might dig into a little bit more of the old series. So be on the lookout for those. And while you're down looking for the links for Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th, I have my Instagram and Twitter down there. They're both at @TheDaveCave_. Post over there when I'm not posting here. That's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much, as always, for stopping by the Dave Cave. Happy Halloween. You guys are awesome. This has been a lot of fun. I will see you all real soon. But until then, take care.